Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the recent 2020 film Scoob. Now, as you know, Scoob is a 2020 American computer animated mystery comedy film that is meant to be based on Hanna-Barbera's iconic character Scooby-Doo from 1969. Now, keep in mind, back in the 2000s, we had two other theatrical Scooby-Doo films, the 2002 one, and also its sequel. Eventually, we got one done as an animated movie. Now, the premise of the movie is meant to be about Shaggy and Scooby, who, after being rejected by Simon Cowell, who refuses to work for Mystery Inc. unless they get rid of Shaggy and Scooby, end up going on an all-out adventure with Blue Falcon, Dee Dee, as well as Teamups. And pretty much throughout the movie, it becomes this giant epic quest movie to find two other artifacts that unholds the key to something important. And I would say the movie isn't too bad. I think it definitely goes back to its original roots when Scooby-Doo was more about team-ups. And keep in mind there were times when Scooby-Doo has teamed up with other characters beforehand. Yeah, we've seen them team up with the Adventure Brothers. We saw them teaming up with other Hanna-Barbera characters. And I think it's an interesting idea to have Hanna-Barbera characters come into the world of Scooby-Doo. And again, I feel like when you do have Shaggy and Scooby in the movie, you can kind of tell they want to try and prove Simon Cowell wrong, that they can go the distance, and prove that they have what it takes. And I kind of feel when you kind of have the new Blue Falcon Brian, voiced by Mark Wahlberg, work, is because he's meant to be kind of like the new Blue Falcon. He's meant to sort of be the more unexperienced. And you can kind of tell Dynamite, who in this version is a lot more of the voice of reason, expects Brian to be a bit more responsible. And yeah, I also do feel once again Fred, Velma and Daphne are put in the sidelines. And I have seen this before many times when Shaggy and Scooby are the main focus, and yeah, they're sort of in the sidelines. I think it sort of works as it's meant to have them realize how important Shaggy and Scooby are. But I feel that they're just thrown in there to sort of realize that, and I think that was the premise. And again, when you kind of have the main villain, Dick Dastardly, he does work as a villain. You can tell he's after whatever's behind a certain gate and needs the artifacts. And I feel he does work as a villain because he's basically has goals that are understandable. And I think it's that realistic thing that definitely shows that not every villain has to be evil for the sake of it. Again, villains work when you give them a tragic background, a tragic origin, and a tragic background. And I would also say, as well, I definitely do think the new voice cast isn't too bad. I still think Will Forte tries to do a good Shaggy, but isn't going to replace the current Shaggy. I also do feel Gina Rodriguez, also Amanda, and also Zac Efron do a decent job for Velma, Daphne, and Fred, and that definitely works. And I think what also makes the opening work is that when you're introduced to Shaggy and Scooby sort of being outcast themselves, becoming friends, and then eventually meeting up with the gang in their first mystery, it does work. And I know with the deleted scene, I think it does work as well, and I still think they should have kept it. It's like new kid moves to a neighborhood, basically feels a bit like an outsider, and I still think they could have kept it for more time. And I also know that originally the film was meant to have a more darker storyline, and there were also cut scenery, plans, and other things that just never got off the ground. Which I know as well that other characters that were going to appear, like Jabberjaw, Grey Ape, and Penelope Pitstop, which I think sometimes when you're a writer, you're gonna have to make a few cutbacks. And I know in the original, like, test footage for Scoob was meant to have Shaggy with a more the hoodie and a more sort of different style, which I think was probably for the best. But I think by the end of it, Scoob definitely left its mark. It definitely went back to its original roots. It's something to enjoy, so I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.